For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.
This is the podcast that's been missing you as much as you've been missing the Sharks. Or have you been missing the Sharks at all after that Roosters match? Who knows? Welcome to the ET Stand, the Cronulla Sharks fan podcast that lets its talking do the football. We have one of our dear friends on the show tonight as a special guest host. Joining us tonight is Levon from Waz Up TV. G'day, Levon, and welcome to the show, mate. First time debuting as a host.
Yeah.
Enemy territory.
Enemy territory, man. But it's finally good to be in the inner sanctum. I've watched from afar, and I'm trying to learn the nuances of each presenter and each person. But it's good, man, just to be amongst it. But thanks for having me, Boldo. Lats and Williams, man. Looking forward to the chat tonight for sure.
Thanks for coming in, mate.
Sounds good. Lats and I took over Levon's channel on the watch along during State of Origin during the week. So we thought it would be only fair for us to get in Levon. And obviously the Sharkies are playing the Warriors on Saturday night, and everyone does like the Warriors. It's their second favourite team. So Levon is a very learned rugby league fan and is going to give us, normally we do an opposition fan preview, but we'll try and catch that in tonight's show so that everyone can get amongst that. And then, of course, joining him, Lats, of course, we have to mention. And then Williams is back. Williams, the nostalgia nerd, an absolute legend. What he has forgotten about the Sharks is not worth knowing. G'day, Matty.
Hey, David. Good to be back. And yes, hopefully, sorry, Levon, but great to have you. Hopefully better this week compared to the showing against the Roosters 2 weeks ago.
One can certainly hope. We've been certainly reflective of that. All right, look, if you're new to the channel, give us a subscribe so you can be notified of all of our upcoming videos. We've just clocked over 1,000, so you'll be joining 1,000 other legends who have subscribed. If that's too much, then give us a like. That's free. And then you're just telling people to give us a like and watch our content. And then lastly, we have the comment competition, which is running up until State of Origin 2 to win a displayware unit. So best comment of the evening goes in the draw. There are 3 people currently in that draw, so you would be the 4th. So you would be a 1 in 4 chance of winning. We're going to draw the winner for that during State of Origin 2. Hello to our audio-only friends who are listening on delay via one of our podcast platforms. Can I just say anytime I'm late with the upload, I'm sorry. I'd like to blame Franco or Williams or someone else, but it's all my fault. So sorry for when we're late, but you can always watch us on YouTube if you want to watch us live. On the show tonight, we have Lats with all of the Sharks news. Matty is giving us a try-scoring fun fact. We have the June edition of the player tiers. This one is pretty brutal after the Roosters performance. We are, of course, previewing the mouth-watering clash with the returning high-flying Luke Metcalf and his even higher-flying Warriors. So we've got Levon to talk to us about that one. But, gentlemen, let's get into it. The first segment of the show is a bit of reflection time. And the reason why it's reflection time is that when this presentation is compiled by sad Boldo, because Boldo has had a week off on the ET Stand podcast.
All AI.
Frankly, all AI generated for those
Except
on
for the one
audio
in the
only.
2-2.
So just so you know, so on the left we have, wife beater, blue singlet Boldo. Then we have Ric Flair Boldo. Then we have sad Boldo. Then we have wood chopping Boldo from the Easter show. And then we have ballerina Boldo. Because Boldo's been a bit sad like you have. So when the Sharks get pumped by that sort of score and you've got a week to think about it, well, we start thinking about some stuff. And this is the stuff that we've all been reflecting on the Sharks together. And for starters, number 1, AFB, he's just carrying all of our forwards. I'm sorry, guys, but the rest of you are just not standing up. I was on Levon's channel earlier today and he mentioned, is there a bit of an AFB effect in terms of people putting him up on a pedestal and letting him do too much? The rest of our guys, well, we need to catch up. It's a sad reflection right now, but we've got one gun forward, nothing else. Next, Sharks, we've never been able to handle injuries, have we? So how many times have we seen it in final series, whether it be Matt Rogers, Brett Seymour, Todd Carney, Most recently against the Roosters. Whenever the Sharks have got injuries, we're playing against other teams with injuries. They just seem to be better at handling it. Sharkies, we just can't seem to handle injuries. So how does that shape up for us as we go into the end of the season? Yes, Matthew?
Round 1 finals 2016 versus Canberra. Injury-a-thon, and we dealt with it then. But yes, that's the outlier. One time in 50 plus years.
That's why 2016 was so special, Matthew. But typically, we can't handle injuries except for that one time.
Correct.
Next, reflection. Kennedy and the Daly M. We were kidding ourselves, weren't we? Kennedy's not going to win the Daly M. He can't even catch the ball off the damn kickoff. Next.
Hey, that's not what you told me in the other one. In my one,
I did. I did stitch you up on your watch long. He was good for the first 12 weeks. He's been crap the last 2 weeks. Sorry, Kennedy.
Adjust the team list.
That's that Boldo's standard modus operandi, whatever the words are. Just standard stuff. Just turns on a dime. I hate you, Kennedy. How good's Kennedy? He's going to win the game.
How good's Kennedy? No, Kennedy. But we weren't kidding ourselves. Nico, sadly, I just think he's B+ is a grade that got me through university. He's just not an A grade elite level halfback. That is not what we're seeing from him. He's not Cleary. He's not Luai. And there are other guys on the way, and I'm just worried. Just think he's just a B+ player that we're playing A grade money. And I liken that Levon to Dak Prescott in the NFL. Next. Sharkies, we're just always going to make dumb decisions, aren't we? Like, seriously. Like, we can't make a captain's challenge to save ourselves. We can't seem to pick the right bench. We seem to take the 2 at the wrong time. And we just make dumb decisions. 1.8. We just make the dumb decisions. Next. Our coach, he's also not going to work it out. So, Daniel Atkinson. I don't know if any about you guys, but all of us seem to know that Daniel Atkinson on the bench is a bad idea. Everyone knows it except for Fitzgibbon. He just seems to keep picking it. And then he also can't seem to work out that Talakai needs to get more minutes. I don't know why. That's just what we're looking at. Next. Lastly. We have no origin players. None. The best we've got is Ronaldo Mulatalo, and he's not even eligible for Queensland. That's all we got. We got nothing. How are we supposed to be winning? Right? And then my last reflection is that during the regular season, we're not playing as well because we are saving ourselves for the finals. So sad Boldo came to the conclusion, guys, that unfortunately on the current trajectory, we are just not going to win. It also means that we're probably going to continue, however, to be top 8 relevant, but just not progress past week 2 or week 3. So lastly, that means that we've all got to be realistic with our expectations this season. Unless.
There's always the caveat.
The dime turn.
Fitzgibbon works it out. We get some smarter decision making. He selects the right team. He finds the right forwards. We fix up the captain's challenges. We get a bit of strategy. We have no injuries towards the back end of the season. Katoa's back. Tommy will be back. We're going to be injury-free. The other forwards start to stand up. Toby comes back. Braden Hamlin-Ueli gets back into a bit of form. We get some Valentine Holmes level improvement from the rest of the outside backs. That's right. Valentine Holmes came good in 2016. Why can't some of our other players come good? And lastly, Nico, just get better because I believe in you, Nico. And that's right. So whilst I was sad, Boldo, once you start thinking about it and you realize what the future can be, Matty, I believe. Let's go, Sharkies. So, yeah, that's where I got up to, and that was the conclusion of sad, Boldo. Matthew, your response?
2 things. Your camera angle changed through that, so all I can see is this now, David.
Sorry.
Secondly, the picture of Ronaldo and stop making dumb decisions, I perversely found that funny because I was like, I can think of multiple players that we could be putting there. Ronaldo is a fair one, but obviously you got Raman. We don't have Jack Williams anymore, but he got plenty there. It was just like, they're in for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 dumb decisions, dumb challenges, dumb errors during the game. On the origin front, and I've got a third one here. I said I've got 3. I would say that Brayley is the form hooker and should actually be playing for New South Wales. But because of whatever it may be, Robson's there. But I would actually say that Brayley is an origin level player. And as much as we don't like origin and the impact it has on the team, I'm hoping, and I don't think that he'll get in unless there's an injury or the dead rubber in game 3. I'm hoping for our sake that he manages to get into the squad because that would be a big win for his game and hopefully our game in giving him that big match experience to step up to the next level. The rest of it, agreed. And yes, there is a chance, but yes, we'll see how this week goes.
Let's give us a reaction.
Look, mate, I saw Teague get included into the team list this week, and I thought, you beauty, forward heavy bench. Here we go. Burns drops back to the bench. Atkinson out. Not to be. So it doesn't look like Fitzy's going to make those smart decisions anytime soon. Ronnie should never be allowed near a challenge again. Look, no Origin players. I'm okay with that. I like no Origin players. It's better than having Nico play in the centres and lose his confidence for 2 years. AFB is the gun forward. You're right there. And I think there is a bit of an AFB factor there in regards to the other forwards. I don't know if they're intimidated or they just don't think they can match him, but they need to stand up. And you'll have Kennedy winning the Dally M's next week, no doubt, after this week.
Levon, what do you make of the Sharks, mates? You think that we're just
Doom and gloom over here, eh, mate?
it's doom and gloom on our channel, mate?
Gloom, man. Look, Fitzgibbon, that alarms me that he's been 3 or 4 years in the job and he's still not getting the rotations right. I mean,
Yeah.
in comparison, we had a little bit of that last year with Webby, but this year he's been really solid in terms of what his actual game plan is. So that would be a little bit alarming for me if he's not getting it right at this stage in his kind of coaching career. Just on the AFB factor, the one that I know is that he I don't know if he's got the alpha dog vibe where get out of my way, I'm in charge, and maybe guys are a little bit intimidated by that. But what usually happens if you rely on him too much, you do end up falling a little bit short most games. So you have to have others step up. But yeah, everyone's got injuries. I mean, it's interesting that you guys aren't managing them very well.
Never been able to, except for that one time, Matty.
Yeah,
Yes, that isolated incident.
is that internal? Is that internal? Your trainers are poor. Your
No,
medical staff?
it's more just that they just can't handle the adversity of not having all the players available. They seem to be
Depth factor.
fine when they're flat track bullies and we've got our strongest team on the park. But once we've got a backup winger or a backup center or a couple of backup forwards, we just kind of seem to fall apart, really. So,
well, we managed to survive against Melbourne. I think that was more luck than and a ripper game from Talakai and a few other key players that kept us in it. But there was a stat, I think, shot that after that week, I think it was Rugby League Guru or something put on, where I think it was 80% of teams that lost an outside back in the first half. That was over the last few years.
yeah, but we're carrying Atkinson for that reason specifically.
2 in the first 20 minutes at 2 outside backs and beat Melbourne. But I think that was an isolated incident there. I think more so Fitzgibbon's issues, which is a worry, is that he may have a plan B, C, or D, but he doesn't execute it regularly or early enough, and it's hard to tell. And we saw it in 2023 where he persisted with Matt Moreland, where the entire rugby league community could see that he was our weak link in defence on that left edge.
We love Moreland that year.
Yeah, everyone loved Moreland running at him, that is, playing against him. But and you saw the impact that had on Teague. There was also a Nico defending on that side and a whole stack of players in the team where, who was that left edge was Teague, Moreland, who's our left centre, was Talakai at the time. A lot of them were being brought down by that. And then eventually he made the decision, but it was probably about 4 or 5 weeks too late. And that happens in the same game as well. So his loyalty and his willingness to back his team and back his players is commendable. But also I think his biggest downfall, his support staff of, what do we got? Steve Price, who was there in 2016 where we won, Daniel Holdsworth, Josh Hannay, who's been linked with every open NRL spot, including the Queensland coaching gig, is obviously highly touted. How much impact they have, I'm not sure. Don't know the inner workings, but it does appear to be a common theme that we're frustrated with the bench rotation. And when it's clear, it's like, hey, our forwards are gassed, change them, or maybe actually we're on a roll here. Let's let it run a bit longer. It doesn't seem to have that. It seems to be very cookie cutter. Okay, therefore it's the 25th minute. Therefore AFB comes off. This next guy comes on. There's no changing for the feel of the game. A lot of words there, but that's the worry. It's good to see for you guys though. Webby doing a better job because he was under a lot of pressure last year after a great first season.
Yeah. He's been better.
All right, let's hit through the comments. So 2.0 in the comments saying, bring back bad Billy Burns, who isn't in the team this week. And then 2.0 also regular commenter and viewer saying, Barnett scared of playing AFB, does his ACL the week before playing him. What a cat. The great Harley in the comments saying Sharks have got the new design jersey and Sikione Katoa is back. I think Isaac must be a fan of yours.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Isaac. Thanks for coming across. Matt Axiax in the comments saying our last two games against the Wilds were two of the worst losses in recent memory. Yeah, those hurt. Thanks, Matt. You didn't need to
scores
do that
given up.
Boldo.
20-point rundowns.
SJD in the comment has asked if Shark Store should sell that Sharks 2-2 outfit. I'm sure Chris Kelly will go pick them. Crap for 2 weeks. Will Kennedy played fantastic against the bye, says SJD. Here we go. 2.0. Dak isn't even in the alphabet. Can't compare Nico to Dak. Horrendous from you, Boldo. Geez, Dak Prescott, for any of those NFL fans, he just cops a lot of stick. I think Dak Prescott's pretty good. Dean 180 says Hohepa should get a chance. He reminds me of Rennie Matua. I don't know if that's
hopefully in a good way. Hopefully in a good way, because there's plenty of bad ways there too. Did someone say 2009?
On the on-field, not the off-field.
Yeah.
SJD, in reference to the dumb decisions, has said that we can reduce our dumb decisions by 90% by having Ramian doing the opposite. That's probably true. 2.0 saying you think there's a chance. Williams 2.0 rather. There's always a chance. As Will the Younger says, always believe. Mikhail says, great presentation. Thanks to you. Stuart Campbell, we let Jack Williams go for BHU on less money. I still stand by us letting Jack Williams go, mate. Jack Williams.
Warriors match last year.
Yeah, the Warriors match last year cost us everything. Harley's picking Sharks 50-16. Get your comments in on the tips. SJD saying Q R. Kelly, I believe I can fly. And also saying that BHU has a higher ceiling than Jack Williams. Harley's predicting AFB for the first-time try scorer. 2.0 in the comments saying Toby still to come back, still have hope for the forward bench. Yes, we can hope. Stu, there's a lot of comments in here tonight. Someone's trying to win the comments competition, aren't they? Stuart Campbell, BHU won't be re-signed. He'll be offered to someone else in the off-season as a trade to cover the fullback issues.
Almost went to the Warriors, BHU. Back to
he did, didn't he, Levon?
Yep. Yeah, no, luckily we pulled the plug on that, whatever that was. He said, no way.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, other than that, we'll leave the rest of the comments and get into those. All right, it is now time for your weekly dose of Sharks news. The Sharks news this week, it's not brought to you by anyone because Miranda Hotel's sponsoring the next segment. So, Lats, you're good to go.
Good stuff. All righty. Sharks fans have been left devastated across the socials through the week in learning the extent of Tommy Hazelton's shoulder injury and how long his recovery will see him sidelined for. During the week, the club dropped the unfortunate news that Big Tommy had undergone surgery to repair a sternoclavicular joint injury, where the collarbone joins the sternum, that he suffered in our round 10 victory against Manly at Brookvale, which will see him sidelined for up to 3 months. Unfortunate news for the big fella, who's really starting to hit his straps this season. We could have really used him in that Roosters game and going forward, and we'd like to wish Tommy all the best in his recovery. We hope to see him back on the paddock, terrorising the opposition soon. You're going to like this one, Boldo. Old mate Paul, maybe not so much. But the Siffer to Centre debate surfaced again in the socials over the last couple of days after him having that strong performance against Melbourne when filling in for Jesse after he went off with that eye injury. We saw Siffer at his silky best setting up Atco for a couple of meat pies, and this week a Rugby League Guru podcast came out and stated during his building a Perth squad podcast episode that Siffer is a premier centre in our game. He's just in a stacked roster. He'd sign him up in a heartbeat to be his centre for his Bears team, and when they enter the comp. And is this something we need to be worried about, boys, with these like new teams coming in? They're cashed up and they're going to be looking for stars.
Definitely.
I think we have to be. We saw it with the NRLW. We lost. Who did we lose in the NRLW? The 5'8" of the halfback. His name I can't remember. I really should know.
We lost the halfback, Taylor Preston.
Taylor Preston.
Bulldogs. Or even 2002 when South came back into, we lost a stack of players, including Luke Stewart, who I know was one of your favourite players in that time. He was a very solid player. Paul McNicholas and others that went, even Russell Richardson and the like. So anytime a new team comes in, they tend to clean up quite a few good mid-tier players, and obviously they get a marquee as well, and the player pool spreads a little thinner.
Levon, what do you think of Talakai?
Yeah, I rate him. He's got good energy. He's a good player, man. But yeah, I mean, there's probably an argument that he's when you get those players in that spot where they're just bouncing around positions and they're not quite settled, like, yeah, you either look for another starting spot somewhere else or you learn to take that role. But for him, I'd probably say if you want to go to Perth, give it a shot. I'd say, yeah.
Alrighty, unfortunately the streak has ended, and I can use that word now because it has ended for our Jersey Flegg boys after going down to the Tigers in a gritty 30 points to 18 loss at Henson Park last Saturday. The boys went into the sheds in front 14-12 before a strong showing in the second half, and the Tigers saw them steal the win. The loss sees them drop from first to fourth on the ladder, with the Storm on first on 21 points, the Eels, Raiders and Sharks all locked up on 20. They go on to play the 8th place Warriors at Sharks Stadium at 3:05 p.m. this Saturday prior to the main game. And after belting the Roosters the week before, the Newtown Jets were brought crashing back down at the hands of the Western Suburbs Magpies 32-22 at Henson Park on Saturday. The loss sees the lads drop out from 4th to 5th position in the knock-on effect New South Wales Cup ladder. They go on to play the first place Warriors at Henson Park at 3 p.m. this Saturday.
Nice.
And finally, during the week, Sharks dropped a nice little merch post unveiling their inaugural Tangata Moana Pacifica jersey. Tangata Moana, translating to People of the Sea, has been designed in honour of the club's Pacifica players for the upcoming clash against the Warriors at Sharks Stadium at 5:30 this Saturday. It's such a fitting tribute given the league's made up of over 52% Pacifica players, and this is a jersey I really want to get my hands on. I know Chris Kelly would. I love how it looks, what it represents, and what do you guys think of it?
Levon?
Yeah, I love the pattern above the Aramex. I think it's a Samoan type of pattern. I see the Māori kuru pattern down the side. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, man. Done a good job, I reckon. Yeah.
Levon, as someone who's got ties to that heritage, obviously, I feel like I'm not someone who's well placed to be able to comment. Does that make you proud? Does it questionable? Are you happy that it's there? Are you just thinking, yeah, this is freaking awesome and it's getting different cultures, bringing them together and also showcasing cultures? Like, what's your feel about this sort of initiative?
Yeah, I think it has its place. Don't overdo it. Like anything, I'm kind of in the middle. Like I hate overdoing merchandise personally. It just, they expect us fans.
Says the guy wearing the Warriors hat.
Yeah. Well, the six jerseys a year, whatever it is. I'm like, oh, come on, that's a bit overkill. I'm a bit of traditionalist, but it has its times and moments. I mean, in our Warriors history, we've probably had 2 or 3 Indigenous jerseys that everyone still really likes, and still wears. So it's nice in that terms when your fan base grows a little bit and you see some of those old jerseys, Indigenous jerseys or whatever. Yeah, it's cool, but I think it's a fine balance. But what I see there looks pretty good. I like what like I said, they've done with the Aramex. I think that's a Samoan pattern on there, and then the collar looks pretty cool as well. So, no, man, it's all good. It's real good.
I think also doing it against the New Zealand Warriors match this week gives it a little bit more significance. So, nice time to do it, really. All right, thanks for that roundup, lads. That was very good.
All good, man.
All right. Now we are moving on to, well, obviously we've got the Warriors match preview coming up. So the Sharkies welcome the New Zealand Warriors into Shark Park or Shark Stadium at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. Matty, give us the history rundown of the two teams.
I love this. And yes, whoever said that before about our last 2 matches at home being some of our worst losses in recent memory. Well, worst, I'll define that. I think we've had worse losses, but biggest capitulations, you'd call them. The one last year, obviously thrown away whatever size lead that was massive. And then the year before that, in early 2023, David Boldeman famously said, surely we can't lose from here, as we went 26 points to 6 up. And it finished, I believe, final score of 32 points to 30 with Sean Johnson kicking that penalty goal. So 50 matches have been played. This will be the 51st match between the two sides. 29 wins to the Sharks, 21 to the Warriors. An overall points tally of Sharks 1,076 to Warriors 918. The Warriors won the very first match between the two sides way back in 1995. Then the Sharks went on a bit of a streak, dare I say it. And then it's been pretty even of late. Obviously, the Warriors won the last start. They've won the last 2 starts at Shark Park and also won a key matchup against us in 2021 that put us on the back foot for the finals race. That very first match, as my internet drops out, great timing, was a 23 points to 18 win by the Warriors at Shark Park. That one where was your mate Samet dropped the dropout, was it? Yeah, sorry to
Samet dropped the dropout.
Yeah, dropped the dropout. But then, Sharks had a bit of a winning streak, and then here we are. So the Warriors have won a fair bit of late. We played only the one final between the two games that infamous.
No, we're not allowed to talk about that one,
We're not
Matty.
talking about that. Anyway, something happened in 2002 that Levon would be able to chat
That's
about.
Levon's favourite match ever.
Levon, sorry for the mispronunciation there. Levon, yes, that was the Warriors' first of two grand final appearances came as a result of that. And Levon offline raised, he gave me a bit of a rap and said you'd be able to rattle off some players that have played for both sides. So I might let everyone have a bit of a think about it and we'll come back to it. I've had a quick dive and there's some crackers in there. I think
There's at least 10.
my favourite left field of the lot is a guy that played, I'll give you a bit of a hint, he played one match for Australia. He went on a kangaroo tour. He was a starring player in that 2002 final series and had a very starring role in the 2002 grand final. Had a bit of an incident with Brad Fittler. He played for the
Oh,
Sharks,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you know
I
who
know
I'm
who it
talking
is.
about
I
there.
know who it is.
Yeah,
I've got it.
Give us the answer.
You know who it is, Levon?
No, I can't click it together
Laps?
right now. So.
Oh yeah, I
Wasn't
do,
he
mate. But I'll
involved-
let you mention it.
Wasn't he involved in a thieving incident or something really weird?
Thieving incident. The allegation, which actually turns out has since been proven, was not him, I believe. And it was 2 games for Australia. He played in 2003, one for Tonga in 1998. His first name was Richard.
Richard Villasante.
Wow.
That's the one. He also played for Boldeman and the West Tigers. He played a whole stack for the Warriors, and he played 7 matches for us in a mid-season trade in 2006, transferring for the Warriors to the Sharks. 1 try. A try against the Melbourne Storm at Olympic Park that year in a loss. But plenty of other players in there. Heaps of halves. We're rattling off Chad Townsend, Jeff Robson, Brett Seymour. One other guy that was involved in 2016, I'll let Boldo's gears tick over there, who was prominent in the Warriors making the 2011 grand final with a very young Sean Johnson, and another player who played. So there's Sean Johnson, another player that was playing for us. Sorry?
Jason Bakuya.
Bakuya was in there. Bakuya
He did play for James Maloney. James Maloney.
James Maloney.
What a player.
James
What about Maloney playing for them?
Maloney before he joined the Roosters.
So much for letting people put it in the comments. All right, we're going to cut it off there. So that's at least 10. Are there any others?
There's plenty of others. We're talking outside backs there. There's plenty of other outside backs that you can talk about, but there's plenty of halves, and we've covered those. And Old Mate Villa's handy, but we'll let the comments talk about the
gorilla.
players. Yeah. So Villa the Gorilla, that's it. So that's the wrap up, I suppose. History-wise, hopefully the Sharks can bounce back from the last 2 games. The preceding match at Shark Park we played before those 2 horror losses was probably one of our, we mentioned it a few weeks ago, in one of our best victories at Shark Park, where we won with 11 men. So, sorry. Yeah, it was. It was Boldo's mate Will Kennedy leaving his feet and ripping. I can't remember whose head off it was. Was that...
That was embarrassing.
Was it?
Yeah, he took off. I can't remember who it was, but he went super high, and then
did you
have 2 sin bins during the game?
Yeah, we had a send off. So Will Kenny sent off, and then it was Jesse Ramian with the sin bin. We had right in front of us, which was lucky not to be a send off as well. About midway through the second half, so that was back when the Warriors were kind of. Nathan Brown was coach. It was a bit of a rebuilding period, and then obviously Andrew Webster's gone. Just done awesome with that team after that.
Yep.
There you go, Blake Ashford.
Blake Ashford.
Oh, the turnstile himself, Blake Ashford.
Blake Ashford. John O'Wright. There's some good ones. There's some good ones. Who else? Get it in the comments.
And it was we've got other comments there saying that Kennedy hit Reece Walsh. It was indeed Reece Walsh. And,
it was Walsh. Yeah, that's right.
And
he went
I think if that happened today, the NRL would be quite happy for it. But
come on, man. 13 men versus a soccer team. That's crazy. I couldn't believe what I was seeing that day. I was just like,
looking at that Warriors team, if it happened again this weekend, the Warriors would rack up a 60-point score. That was a very different Warriors team.
But that team was embarrassed. Yeah.
Fecky played for both, didn't he?
You love Fecky. He was in our junior
Warriors, didn't he?
Yeah, he was in our
juniors.
They won
juniors
the
Warriors.
There's still more.
There's still more. One in a similar mold.
Plenty more. One of a similar mold, international player.
International player who played prominently in the 2008 final series for the Sharks, had played for the Warriors.
That's a different player to what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so Fecky, I don't believe played first grade for the Warriors.
No, he just played junior NYC. What was it called? The Toyota Cup. Yeah.
Tour Cup. Yeah,
He's a player.
was part of
Becky was a
Riverside.
great player. All right. Well, speaking of great players, let's go through the Sharks team that has been named to take on the Warriors. I'll read through the team.
Levon's been a very
Sharkies-
good sport today, mate.
Oh, Levon. Well, Levon gets to read out the Warriors team in a minute. So the Sharks take on the Warriors round 14 with William Kennedy, the form player in the NRL at fullback. The returning Sione Katoa makes his debut in first grade this season, playing his first match, and will be partnered by the hopefully not as injured knee Marine Harotti, with the strong centre pairing of Jesse Raymond and KL Iro. Halves partnership of Braden Trindle and Nico Hines. Vanilla Blake is in number 8. Oregon Kafusi is his partner in the front row. And the ever-present unlimited man, Blake Brayley at hooker, with the Britton Nakira and Teague Wilton in the back row. Then Captain Cam McInnes locks the scrum. And then with the bench of number 14, Daniel Atkinson, Jesse Colhoun's 15, Siasifa Talakai at 16, and Braden Hamlin-Ueli rounds out the bench. The coach of the Sharks is Craig Fitzgibbon. Lats, this team, the forwards, they look a bit small, don't they? What's your reaction to the team list?
That's all right, mate, because we've got Dan Atkinson on the bench who will cover them, so that's fine. No, look, mate, yeah, it's worrying because, you know, these Warriors forwards have been on fire of late. Unfortunately, they lost Mitch Barnett last week, which is huge loss for them, and my condolences on that, Levon. But, mate, Ford, Clark, they've all been gun. Mate, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a lot closer than I thought it would have been if I was thinking back a few weeks ago. And I don't know which way to go with this one, to be honest.
Well, might be a consistent thought. Was there any social reaction from the fans, Lats, or any commentaries, or have you not had a chance?
Yeah, no, there was. There was a lot of happy fans to see Teague back and Sione, especially given we're without two of our first grade hookers in Stone Street. Wingers in Stone Street and Ronnie taking that ban. So they're happy to see him back. But again, it's all been around Atkinson on the bench again. Post 4 o'clock this afternoon. There's a lot of unhappy
always
fans.
Well, it's always that.
Burns didn't do anything wrong when he was in. He was awesome. I thought he would have found a bench spot for sure. But with the inclusion of those two,
I'd be playing Tuku Hautapua.
Well, yeah, he's been awesome. He was awesome. He's been awesome for Newtown. He was great in the trials. I think he got 1 or 2 games earlier in the year, and I don't know why he's not going with him. I really don't. I don't know if Atkinson's there in case there's a niggling injury to someone and the coach knows it, but I don't know. It baffles me.
We've seen Fitz drop Atkinson from the bench that one game against Parramatta this year and a few times last year where we played 4 forward. So it is possible. We don't know what's going through his and the coaching staff's head and whether it's going to happen. Tuko Hautapua, I don't know if he's been playing New South Wales Cup, but I believe it was to get more minutes and meters into his legs because he was playing short stints. But yeah, I think another body would be helpful there, especially with Sifa back. He acts as your utility for the centres, and you move others around if need be.
Yep.
Levon, what do you make of the Sharkies, man, before we get you to talk to us about the Warriors?
Look, bro, I always respect the Sharkies. I think you guys are always a solid outfit, and I know you may be having difficulties, and I understand you want the right rotations, but for whatever reason, when we come up against you guys, you always have a pretty solid team. You got a lot of experience there. Your halves, especially, I'm concerned about. AFB, we know the influence of AFB, so not going to take that lightly. Brayley's, like you guys saying, on the verge of an origin type thing. Britton absolutely terrifies me on a line. Some of you other guys not so worried about, but you got guys like Kale Iro in form. Kennedy's very good against us too. He always finds a way to kind of get over the try line or set something up. So I never take you guys lightly, that's for sure. So I got a lot of respect for your team. Absolutely. That's pretty.
All right. Well, we've also got a lot of respect for your team. So, Levon, we're going to get you to run us through the New Zealand Warriors lineup, mate. Take us through the team list.
Yeah, man. So we got Chance de Klokstad at fullback, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak on the wing with Adam Pompey, who I think we're thinking is going to be left centre at the moment. Kurt Capewell is at right centre. but that might change. We have Ali Leatoa, who, if he gets fit, passes the fitness test, might come in, so that might push Catewell back to the back row. But Catewell's there. Then you got Roger on the left wing, Tuivasa-Sheck. Then you got Chanel Harris-Tavita at 6, Luke Metcalf at 7, James Fisher-Harris at 8, Wade Egan, and Jackson Ford filling in for Mitch Barnett. We're kind of thinking Ford for us is a better bench forward, but at the moment that might change. We might push Marata Newcourt into the starting front row spot if all the pieces move around. You know what I mean? Then we've got Leka Halasima on the left edge with Marata Newcourt on the right edge, and Aaron Clark at lock forward. Then the bench is Tamaiti Martin, who kind of comes on, plays a bit of like a utility for us in the back end of games. Jacob Labian, one of our juniors that's finding his feet. Same with Dimitri Vaimonga and Tanner Stowell Smith, he's played one game so far, debuted against the Dolphins, and then now he's getting potential opportunity. And obviously Andrew Webster is our coach. So yeah, that's pretty much the lineup.
What's worth knowing?
What's that?
What's worth knowing? Where do you score your points?
We kind of score points and bunch, like goal line attacks everywhere. Difficult. Yeah, I think we're finding that we can't break teams down on goal line. I think we're one of the worst teams to sit on someone's try line and break them down. So we need X factor points. So you're getting a lot from like a Luke Metcalf or Leka Halasima. You're getting some structured tries. You're getting some cross-field bombs to. We usually get Pompey, a cross-field to your center. And then if your winger bites in and Pompey taps it back, we have our winger sitting on the wing. So if we win that matchup, it's a straight ball to the winger, and we usually score that way. So probably something I reckon Fitzgibbon would probably game plan for. And then everything else is kind of like drips and drabs. I know it's not very structured. Like I found that 2023 was like our most structured. We had set plays, double lead runners. This year it's kind of like finding points where we can type of thing. So it's a little bit different. But it's more responsibility. Like we had that symptom of AFB doing everything. Now with him gone, SJ's gone, the responsibility is a lot more even. So points can come from different places at different times. Yeah.
Which the team's better for, I think. I think the team's better for that rather than the structure that they had. 23 you guys went great, and then I sort of it became a drop down 24. Yep. When it became predictable, and then the Warriors have always gone well when they've been unpredictable, and I think this team's certainly got that back line does scare me a little bit, especially the wingers versus our wingers. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Well, Kurt Capewell in the centres, another Sharks player, scares you.
Another Sharks player, number 7 as well. Franco's not here. I think he's crying right now.
So I didn't want to come on.
Levon, talk to us about Luke Metcalf and why has he been so good for you this season?
Look, I think there's a bit of it to do with Webby developing him, definitely. So I think it's a bit of a coach that's gotten, molding a player, forming a player and how he wants him to play. There's a lot of support around him in terms of like the structures. Like Webby is a very structured system. You'll see a lot of what we do is very, predictable. It's kind of like the Penrith model, but trying to break teams down over time. And so I think there's a lot of structures around. But then he's got his own little X factor. Like you said, Boldo on our one that, he misses kicks from in front and then he'll give you a clutch kick from 50 meters in the game. So he's got a little bit of something about him that we're learning about him this year specifically. He was in the shadows.
Here we go. Can I just ask, Matty, if Luke Metcalf is the sort of player who can miss from in front but kick it from the sideline, what halfback goal kicker do you think of from the Sharks that might remind you of?
Halfback goal kicker.
Yep, halfback goal kicker for the Sharks.
Halfback goal kicker, very specific. Are we talking?
Yep.
I was even thinking Luke Cavell, but
Luke Cavell could get him.
Yeah, but
surely
he would shank him from close in. But Brett Morley.
There we go.
One that would miss the sitter and then he'd go and nail it from the sideline. But I think his kick percentage is about 60%. But you're right, Metcalf, with the way that he's become such a clutch player, including that 50-meter penalty goal a few weeks ago, that was really, really impressive to see. And I suppose a little bit jealous, but we've made our decision with our halves. But great to see him going well for you guys.
Hey, Levon, last question on the Warriors. What's the makeup of the bench? So who are the types of players you got on the bench here?
So tonight is your fill-in guy. So usually we used to go ball playing lock right, which was Dylan Walker. So you bring him on 25 minutes in, and then you start to move the offense around. Now we've gone to more of a forward dominant rotation where a lot of it's just through the middle or through the halves, and Tamaita just comes on to either give you ball playing options or it's to relieve an Egan who might be tired and he's playing out a dummy half. That's pretty much what it is at the moment. Laban is a young fella, a back rower, tall, big build, got a bit of a fan, strong upper body. Dimitrik's similar. These guys are kind of just young, feisty guys, hungry to kind of impress. They do have an offload in them. They do have an error in them. And then Tanistale Smith, just a workhorse type, just, nothing fancy, no footwork, just straight ahead, up and down, defense, that type of player. Yep.
All right, Lats, give us your prediction.
Oh, mate, I'm going to go Sharks by 2 or maybe 1.8. No, Sharks by 2. I think this is going to be really tight. I think it's going to be a seesawing affair, and I'm not really confident. So I'm just going to say Sharks scrape in because I follow the Sharks.
Matty?
Head says Warriors by 8, but Heart, which I think I'll lean towards, is Sharks by 4. And I think the last year, a few times, and even this year, when it looks like the chips were down and we're about to throw the towel in, they do bounce back. It's frustrating that they are inconsistent at the moment, but I think hopeful anyway that they bounce back. There have been other occasions too where we've been flat coming off the bye, but I think this week they will hopefully be up enough and get the job done in a close one.
We needed that bye.
Yeah,
we needed that bye.
Long overdue.
Yeah, we had the player injuries. All right, Levon, tell us why the Warriors are going to win. What's your score prediction? Come on.
Look, if I'm playing the negative side, I think if I'm being honest, we've come up against teams that halves just haven't clicked. We were a tight one against the Dragons. They had Pacifica Top? No, the young halves. They had no halves pretty much. We come up against the Rabbitohs, barring a Latrell miracle solo revenge tour effort. They didn't have a chance of beating us. They had nothing. We've come up against a few other teams where probably Isaiah Couture was pretty good. Yeah, but we beat that. But they're like, if you have a decent halves pairing, and if you can shut us down defensively, then you got a chance because we've just come up against teams and we just defend it and they can't get past it. So I reckon I can see you guys pipping us definitely. If anything, it's going to be we're in these tight games. There's no way there's a blowout. It's going to be tight, in my opinion. So if we win, it's by 2. If you guys win, maybe by 4. That's
one thing I will say is I'm just love Sean Johnson. So happy he's not playing. I suppose based on last year.
Hopefully he's commentating, Matty.
And he's doing a very good job commentating. And I'm going to it's a 10-year anniversary this year of that try that he scored against us in 2015 at Shark Park after Fafita scored a try, which is very similar to the one he scored eventually in the grand final to put us ahead with about 3 minutes to go. And then come full time, he goes step, goosey try. So sorry to bring that one up. But good that he's not playing either for us or the Warriors because it might make it a bit more predictable.
All right, well, I'm going to tip that the Sharks are going to lose as the honesty broker of the ET stand. I just can't see us beating the Warriors, and I just think their bench is going to get us because they're going to be bigger than us. We've still got a few players injured. And the Warriors are like the second best team in the NRL at the moment. I just can't see us beating them. But I've been wrong before, so who knows? And then lastly, we're going to let Levon go in a second, but I was just on Levon's channel, and we did a combined team of Sharks, Warrior Sharks, we called them. So this is where we landed. So we landed with Will Kennedy, Sione Cattell, Rami and Aniro. Will Kennedy versus Nicole Klokstad was fiercely debated. And somehow I managed to get the nod over you guys on that one, Levon. Don't know how.
I don't know how after your first segment.
I know. He set me up.
I did set you up. Matty, what's your reaction to this combined team?
I just love the fact that Nico and Metcalf are both wearing the 7.
It's the jersey numbers this week, Matthew.
7A and 7B. But it's a good-looking team. One that I think both the Sharks or the Warriors would be very happy to have merging those two together. And quite a few of those young up-and-coming forwards making the bench from the Warriors. It's given a bit of a vibe similar to early 2000s, I think, with the Warriors, which is good to see and exciting. I think a strong Warriors team is obviously very good for the NRL. I think that age-old age of a strong South is good for the comp. Now, stuff that. The Warriors, their international engagement and all the rest, and they have struggled for a long period of time, and obviously been in the comp for 30 years now, and have yet to win a premiership. They would be the next big, they're the next big uncharted territory, I suppose. So, thanks for being on, Levon. I know you're New Zealand based, so it's 2 hours ahead as well. So, gosh,
yeah,
we'll let you jump off, Levon. So, thanks for coming on for the for the preview.
Just want to say, guys, before I leave, massive reps to you guys hitting 1K followers. The hard work you guys put in. Big up to you guys and Franco and the other guys as well. You've done a massive job, Boldo. Yeah, onwards and upwards for us, man, in the content space. So, and just want to quickly shout out Williams 2.0. Love you, brother. I came and watched Let's and Franco one time, and then they were complaining about travel, and then Williams 2.0 goes, "Yeah, but the Warriors show every week."
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you're a good man 2.0. You're a good man.
He's a good man 2.0.
He talks true.
Now,
he was probably also rather drunk at the time as well.
Now, the other thing, Sharks fans, Levon and Ash, terrifically learned rugby league aficionados. So if you're looking for a second channel to go and subscribe to and go and watch, they do watch-alongs and a whole bunch of stuff. They are definitely the second best channel on YouTube for all rugby league content. So go and look up What's Up TV on YouTube. Levon and Ash, you're absolute legends. So thanks for coming in, mate. And we'll send you some text message during the game on Saturday night, no doubt.
Yeah,
we'll see you during State of Origin.
Origin watch along, man. We've got to do it again for sure.
Sounds good. All right, legend. All the best, mate. We'll talk over the weekend.
See
you, mate.
See ya.
See you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, that was Levon. Now I'm going to try and change up this look and feel here as I try and do that, which is never successful because I always stuff this up. I don't know. Can one of you guys just talk about something as I just fix up the views here?
We'll go through a few comments here.
Do that, Matty. Thank you.
Some of the former players here. So looking at its Williams 2.0 was talking about Halasima being a weapon. Agreed there. Toby Rudolph, there was some chat about was he back? I thought he was back. Williams 2.0 said that he saw him at Trivia, which was recently on and not hosted by Boldo, I believe. Not sure who hosted that, but he was looking fit as a fiddle there.
I'm hosting Trivia next week. Wednesday
next
night.
Week.
Was that Toby you was talking about, or was when Boldo was talking about Tukuhau Tapua getting, and you were saying getting some minutes in the legs?
No, it's about Toby.
Toby was
I think it was about Toby. So the preceding comment was from Stuart Campbell. Congratulations on the baby now be 2 or 3 weeks old now. 2 weeks old maybe. Thought Toby was due back this week. Any news on him? And Williams 2.0 said looking fit as fiddle. SJD, who I was referring to before about the 2008 player, that was similar in, I suppose, style to Sasai Feki and did play first grade for the Warriors. Missy Talapapa, famously scoring a hat-trick.
Still playing footy, mate, over in
the Boldo and Lats beer throwing match that was week 1 of the finals 2008.
That's true.
So
small legs, Talapapa, doesn't he, Lats?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. I think he bruised his leg or something. I don't know.
Well, I'd rather bring ET on the bench than Atkinson. Honestly, it's getting tiring. I think we're all there. So looking at SJD's put a whole stack of players in here too. I'll just roll down here for a sec. So looking at that, Blake Ashford and John O'Wright, we've covered that. Will the Younger saying Kennedy hit Reece Walsh, and Williams 2.0 agreeing that Reece Walsh was almost killed by Kennedy back then. We spoke about Feki, not a first grader for the Warriors, but played in the under-20s grand final winning team back in 2011, 2012-ish. Sam Healy now, although Healy didn't play first grade, played a trial match for us. Harley talking about the Sharks shutting down Metcalf, hopefully. Jason Bakuya, a noted dual Warrior Shark. International Gerard Beale, a dual Warrior Shark. We were talking about Atkinson. Nigel Vungana as all those big shout out there. Tawera Nikau being shout out. He played internationally for New Zealand, but not for the Warriors.
Yeah, he didn't play for the Warriors.
He played for the Sharks and the Storm in the NRL, ARL Super League. And different variants. Had played in England for various clubs, and then rolling down to a few other players here. So David Latu, controversial but correct, played for both clubs. And Brett Seymour also did.
So many.
Sean
So many
Johnson.
controversial ones.
So many halves, just half after half. And then we've got the great Henry Perinara, played for both clubs. And
Yep.
also, I think he played 5'8". And he's also, he was a referee or on the judiciary or he's a referee, a video referee, all the rest. Jose saying hello and lol.
Jose.
G'day there. And the cut path to do. Williams 2.0 is going to therapy after I mentioned the Sean Johnson try. In amongst that, Boldo has got the right, obviously, face configuration. I think our heads are in line. Maybe I'm a bit higher there.
Maybe a bit.
SJD saying, when the Sharks win by 13 plus, I'll bring the egg to smother on your face, Boldo.
I'll tell you what.
To stream that live.
When the egg happens on the face, we'll update the AI and we'll get egg on the face of all the different Boldos from that first segment earlier on.
Yeah. And I think I've covered everything. This is a longer comment from Chad Smith. This will be a tough encounter. Just glad we're home. Hopefully we can get the job done. Do the Warriors hold the record for most double-barreled surnames in the NRL? They'd be close.
They'd be close.
Be up there. Will the younger saying Sharks winners won't be able to compete against Wars in the high ball defence. I think Harley's suggestion, the SJ Cup, I'm going to put forward the Villa Santi battle or something like that. I think that...
it's the Beal Bowl.
The Beal Bowl.
The Beal Bowl. That's so good.
The Beal Bowl is the winner.
What about this one? Richie Barnett.
Richie Barnett did he? I don't.
He didn't play for the Warriors. I don't think he played for the Roosters. Didn't he?
Played for the Roosters. Played for us.
Yeah,
He played for the Warriors.
I've got one Williams that hasn't been mentioned yet. I believe.
Here we go.
Played junior footy for the Warriors. Didn't play first grade. Played first grade for Cronulla. Haven't got yet.
Oh, junior. Junior footy for what year are we talking? Am I allowed to ask questions?
I don't know what year it is, mate. I'm just looking at it on the screen now on Warriors Kiwi News. Mate, you got to kick yourself when you hear it.
Britton Nickera.
Toshio Licini.
Oh!
My favourite one shark player. One shark.
Toshio Licini.
Toshio Licini. For those that are not aware, he's my kind of favourite go-to when it comes to one game players. He played one game.
For anyone going to trivia next week, Toshio Licini is going to be the answer to one of the questions at trivia.
I digress, but one game at fullback replacing David Peachey in 2006 against the Tigers. He set up a try for Kevin Kingston and was never seen again. So Will the Younger said, I think it'll be a Roosters game 2.0. Very negative there. That's my brother. Good on you, Blake. The Sharks wings won't be able to compete against the Warriors in the high ball defence. SJD saying they think that they've been practicing high kicks for 25 hours straight. I hope not that long. That might be a bit fatiguing. And Williams,
you can't jump. It doesn't matter how good you can catch.
Yeah, I could say something about white men can't jump. The thing that has impressed me the most about the Wars, their defence so many times, they've dug in deep and scrapped. Their attack will sort itself out as long as they can defend in bunches. And that's kind of what Levon was saying there. So I think I've covered everyone. Apologies to those who haven't.
Matthew.
Maybe, and Williams 2.0 also talking about being in therapy for me, talking about SJ's try in 2015.
Mate, I swear this show is just therapy, Matty. Just always.
It is.
We're just recounting stuff. Just all these
Great
nasty moments. All right, let's go around the league with Lat. Here we go.
This could be anything because I've got no notes. I'm just going to be talking to what I see. So,
do your best, Chris Kelly. Best.
You're telling me there's a chance. All right, Lockie Galvin. The Tigers agreed to part ways with Lockie. He signed with the Dogs, which was the worst kept secret in rugby league last week. Apparently, Phil Gould never met him before. Sort of got in a bit of hot water when he mentioned he did meet him before. Then Lockie came out in an interview saying he hadn't met him before until the day prior to the interview. But look, he signed with the Bulldogs. I don't like it. I think it's dirty. I think they did Sexton dirty. I think there will be a player revolt and they will fall off their perch. Boldo and I were talking about this prior to the show, and Boldo mentioned the players are friends. They're not going to like it, having some young kid come in thinking he's going to rule the roost, especially with an ego like Luai there next to him. I can see it. I can see this being like the
you think Matt Burton isn't going to ask?
Jersey.
You think Matt Burton is not going to ask Jerome Luai, hey, what do you think of Galvin? Or Kikau or Crichton? Like, come on. And it's just a bit underhanded by Gus Gould with calling him over television. Like, the whole thing just is just a little bit nasty.
Reeks.
and untoward. And I just think, Lachlan Galvin, you are now the most unpopular player in the NRL, period.
And the Tigers are better off without him.
Yeah, better off. He's not
And
even
his
that
manager.
good.
No.
Next.
Anyway, alrighty. Alex Johnson bagged a hat-trick the other day against the Warriors and joined the 200 club, reaching 200 tries, falling short by 18 of Ken Irvine's record. He seems to be reeling it in pretty quick, boys. He's knocking the tries down, and it's good to see. He's a great try scorer and a great player. I love watching him in the open field scoring, and he did one the other day from an intercept, and yeah, well done.
I'll
AJ.
have more to say
tries.
about. I'll have more to say about him later.
212 tries, Ken Irvine.
12 was it? Are you sure it's not 2,200? Oh, it's 12. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Thought
100%
it was
positive.
18.
I'll bet the house on that.
All right.
Shane Levon wasn't here for this one to talk about Mitch Barnett, lads.
Mitch Barnett. He unfortunately went down against the Bunnies, and it's the Warriors' worst fears were confirmed when he had scans showed that he had an ACL rupture, out for the season. It's bad for the Blues. He's a gun. He was their only representation for the Blues from the Warriors, so they're now in the same boat as us as having no Origin players. And it's bad for the game. He's an absolute weapon to watch, and all the best, Mitchie, going forward and in your recovery.
All the best.
Ricky's Raiders. Now, look, these guys, they're the real showstoppers of the comp right now. Forget the Bulldogs. These guys haven't had a bye yet. They're sitting second on the ladder. Ricky's just taken a bunch of nobodies and he's turned it on. It surprised me. I didn't think that. I saw them in Vegas against the Warriors. I thought they just played a bad Warriors team at the time. They were playing a good Warriors team, and they're equally as good. I think it was Billy Slater came out and said they're the form team of the competition this far in on his podcast the other day. So I don't like seeing Ricky with a smile on his face, but look, you can't knock him. He's doing well with what he's got down there. And he's got, don't forget, he's got Brails coming down next year as well. So they're growing. They're building.
Just keep coming back from big scores down, like against quality opposition as well. So I don't like it either. But yeah, it's interesting. They're playing well.
They're not going to do anything in the finals. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's
rubbish.
Just like the Sharks weren't going to get smoked against the Roosters, eh?
Just finished May premiership, so we're now in a June premiership window period.
The Raiders, come on. They only win when it's cold. They've got no good players.
It's getting colder. We've just hit winter. It's getting colder.
Oh, no. Sorry, 2.0. You're wrong. They're not like the 2016 Sharks. The 2016 Shark won. The Raiders will not win. There is no way the Raiders will win the premiership. Put it on tape.
That's a lock.
Okay.
Level responsibly.
All right, we've got some big ins this week and some outs. We've got Reece Walsh back, Kalen Ponga, Harry Grant, Cody Walker, Jake Travojevic and Jamal Fogarty are back in this week. Out, we have Mitch Barnett, is what we mentioned earlier with that ACL, Leo Thompson, Jaden Sewer, Royce Hunt, Josh Alloway, and Sam Verrills is out.
And that is around the league.
I think that's around the league. I don't know if there's any more pitches coming.
2.0, somebody pin that comment from Boldo. All right, fair enough. All right, that was the league roundup. Now we are going on to the player tiers. I'll just introduce this one myself.
While you load them up, Boldo, I just want to give
Yes.
a few shout-outs to some players. Terence CU, another great shout-out. Yes,
Oh, great one.
Dane Nielsen also played for both clubs, played in the 2 games for the Sharks. Vince Mellars of Golden Point try-scoring fame in 2005, of course. Some good shout-outs there from Williams 2.0, SJD, and Matt Axiak. Good calls there.
All right, let's get into the player tiers. All right, the player tiers. Without further ado, as we go into the last 10 minutes of the show tonight, this is Boldo's player tiers, where a bunch of Boldemans get together and rank all of the Sharks players, not by the salary cap, not by the Dally M points, but on a weird, unknown criteria based on how much they're contributing to the team, based on how much they get paid, and what output we might have expected from them. And this week, or this month, yes, Matthew?
By a bunch of Boldemans, Boldo means him and he's different.
No, all of the Boldemans. All of the Boldemans.
All 8 of them.
David brings
all
two
of the
personalities
Boldemans.
to the
Andrew
table
and Jeff, you talk about it.
We saw before no, we can't do it, but there's a chance. Unless, Boldo has two personalities here, he brings them both to the table.
All right. Well, you could say that, but no, all the Boldemans, we all contribute. And look, Matty, if you play your cards right, maybe there might be room for you on the panel too to have your contribution
Seat at
into
the
the
table,
player
Matty.
tiers. The seat at the table in the player tiers. Now, the
I'm not
player
changing my name
tiers.
to Boldeman.
Well, fair enough. All right. So the player tiers is brought to you by Morgans at Cronulla, because if you're thinking about ranking anything and judging anything, then you might want to use your mates down at Morgans Cronulla, who can help you with any stockbroking needs you may possibly need. All right, let's get into it. Now, State of Origin themed this month. So this is the month of June, and there's only two matches since our last ones. All right, so the Sharks top players, so not considered were the injured players. So Teague's back now, so maybe he'll be able to get back into it. But Cade Dykes, Toby Rudolph, and also Liam Eisen were not considered. So the injured guys, they don't move. Next up on the tiers, oh, goodness me, I'm showing the wrong month. Hold on, I've got to boot that out. Hold on, I'm showing the wrong month. Oh, I should have checked this. Hold on. Oh, hopeless.
You're showing the
I think
July
Jeff got into your
tiers.
notes.
You're seeing
I'm
the
showing
future,
the
July.
May tiers.
You'll see real tears in a minute.
Oh, I'm showing the Heartbreak Kid. That's last month's ones. Ah, bloody hopeless. Hold on a second. Sharks, Boldo, Tears, June. Let's go. Should be those ones. Let's add them in. Let's hope that I've actually renamed the right ones here. This could be.
Yeah.
This could just be absolute.
Williams, if this was either of us, we'd be fired.
We would be fired. I'd be
Hold on.
pressing stage left right now.
Oh no, I've got the wrong damn month. Hold on. I must have edited the. Hold on.
Okay, right, Boldo, I'll cover you while we're doing that. A few more comments there. So
Yep, do it.
SJD saying Raiders are $8 to win the comp is A-grade comedy or grade A comedy. So gamble responsibly, people. That's much better than you get at the banks, given the Boldo's now giving them the mock. Blake, Will the Younger, saying Boldo shouting Chinese for all 1,000 subscribers after the comp. If Canberra win the trophy. Well, whether he's shouting or not, I know we'll be waiting till next year for the duck to arrive if 2016 was to go by. And William, see what I'm saying.
Right.
You're saying there's a Boldo 2.0. Watch out, lads. Well, that would be intense. And there's a few more comments coming in there too. Boldo, have you found those notes yet?
Hold on, I'm finding them. I'm getting to them. Hold on.
Okay.
No.
William Stupid talk was at the end of the season pre-recorded. Yes, Boldo said into the future.
Oh no, I've just you know what I've done? I've just not renamed the I just haven't renamed Daniel Atkinson this month. So yeah, there we go. All right, I just haven't renamed Daniel Atkinson this month. So I've made a clerical error. I've not renamed Daniel Atkinson this month because
What would
Daniel
you rename him?
Oh, well, he was basically just not going to be picked at all in terms of. I just didn't think of a name. So sorry, Daniel Atkinson. You're still bottom of the tiers. You haven't moved at all.
Maybe we'll find based on the theme. I think I saw Jake Trebojevic there. So
Yeah.
we'll come of it. Think of a theme for.
Well, think of a theme. Get it in the comments. What should we have called? Because it's meant to be State of Origin themed. All right, so Jake Trebojevic. Why is this tier called Jake Trebojevic? Because as per State of Origin, well, these guys, they probably aren't going to be in the team much longer or if at all. So Harodi's in the team this week. Tukes, Peru, Stoney, Jesse, and Billy. Yes, Matthew?
I have a theme already. So it's Kurt Gidley. Remember when he captained for the bench and played
yeah,
7
it's
minutes?
Kurt Gidley. There we go. It's Kurt Gidley.
Kurt Gidley.
It's Kurt Gidley. That's who it is. So Kurt Gidley, Daniel Atkinson. We all know that Kurt Gidley was bloody hopeless and shouldn't have been in the team. Thank you. See, this is why you should have been on the panel and be on the panel, Matty. You'd be so good. All right. So Jake Trebojevic. So basically, those guys: Harodi, Tukes, Peru, Stoney, Jesse, and Billy. Just not sure if they're going to be able to make the top team for much longer. On to the next, DCE. Well, Kafusi, Ramian, and Trindle. They're still going to make the team, but I'm not sure if they actually should be in the team. So, like Daly Cherry Evans, he's probably going to get picked for game 2, but probably shouldn't because, quite frankly, they haven't been that good lately. On to the next. The 2025 Queensland squad just in their entirety. Kennedy, Cam, Brayley, Trindle, Ramian. Why am I calling these guys a 2025 Queensland squad? Because, quite frankly, like the Queensland squad, we got no one better. This is just who we're going to have to run with and who we're going to pick. And I'm just not sure they're going to get the job done, just like the 2025 Queensland squad. On to the next, Pat Carrigan. Ronaldo, Britton, and KL. Why are these guys Pat Carrigan? Because these guys often are carrying the team on their lonesome, just like Pat Carrigan was in State of Origin 1. On to the next. Latrell Mitchell, Siosifa Talakai. Why is Siosifa Talakai Latrell Mitchell? Because Latrell Mitchell's better in the centres when he starts there too, and has got electric hands, and that pass that he did in State of Origin was awesome. And Talakai, you're awesome as well. On to the next. Brad Fittler. Nico Hines is the Brad Fittler. Why is Nico Hines Brad Fittler? Because you're good, Nico, but you're not Andrew Johns. On to the next. Arthur Beetson, Sione Katoa. Why Sione Katoa, Arthur Beetson? Because we all know the contribution that Sione Katoa makes to this team, and he's only played one game this season, and just like Arthur Beetson, who only played one game in State of Origin, his impact on the team and the concept was massive. Now, you might be thinking, hold on a minute, there's 2 spots left. That's right, because the next spot is reserved for Aaron Raper. No one, because the Sharks went in crap form against the Roosters. And so, therefore, everyone has dropped down a whole bunch. And the undisputed king of the Sharks, King Wally, is Aiden Fanua-Blake. And so, this is the State of Origin tiers, ranking the Sharks players right now based on contribution. I wish I'd put Kid Higley against Daniel Atkinson. Matty, give us a reaction. Is this how you'd rank the Sharks players right now?
I'd say AFB's top, yes. I'd probably put Brayley up there as well. I'm just trying to keep track.
The red and the green indicates whether they've moved up or down.
I'm aware a lot of reds in there, a few random greens. Obviously, Oregon's gone up. As William 2.0 pointed out, you got Ramian in place of Tommy. So you got Tom Ramian or Jesse Hazleton in there in the middle.
Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry, it is.
Okay.
It
no,
is
just trying to.
What did you expect
always,
from the quality
Braden
of the production of
Trindle.
I love to shout out Aaron Raper. It's a shame that you couldn't work David Peachy in there as well with his one game and match-winning try in 2000 and the silly thing that is the Robbie Ross battle that they had in the late 90s. But yeah, I'll take that. As always, an assault of the senses, but I'll take that. AFB's king. Everyone else needs to pull their socks up. Do better, Sharks.
Scotty, Lats.
Yeah, mate, I think you got Brayley a bit too low. I'd slot Brayley into that Aaron Raper spot. Mate, look, even I think Nico's a bit high up there. AFB's definitely Wally Lewis. He's definitely Wally Lewis. Nicker is a little low for mine as well, mate. I'd like to see Nicker up there a little higher. Where have we got Braden Trindle? Because I could see Braden Hamunueli Trindle.
Trindle.
You see even in there a photo of Trindle?
You're right. Trindle.
You've left the 5'8" out.
Trindle's in the Queensland squad.
Oh, there you go.
Trindle's in the Queensland squad.
No, that's fair.
You know what I've learned? I've got to do the tiers not on a Tuesday is the problem. I do them on a Tuesday. I don't have enough time to check it. I'm rushing at 6 p.m. I got to do the Wars Up TV thing. Just the quality of this output. Oh, goodness me. It is fun. At least it's a Christmas tree this time. Well, it looks more like a cork that you might put up your never mind.
Righto, mate.
We'll keep that G rated for 9:30.
Kurt Capewell.
Might be Kurt Capewell indeed. All right, that was the player tiers for this month. Always fun.
Origin theme's a good theme, though. You got so many things you could work in. You could put Mitch Pearce for that player that just hangs around, that is just dog poo.
That's true.
Pearce and dogs. I won't say any further.
Woman in the yellow dress.
Yeah. What else you got? You could add, I suppose, Bill Harrigan with his send-offs of, or even Gordon Tallis.
I did think about having Ben Eichen. No one knows who you are.
Yeah, Aaron Mogg, things like that. Yeah,
I think it's Adam
Phil
Mogg,
Bailey.
isn't it?
Adam Mogg, sorry, it is Adam Mogg.
Adam
Phil
Mogg.
Bailey, you could have Phil Bailey in there.
Phil Bailey,
plenty of Origin-esque themes.
Plenty of those. All right, that was the player tiers for this month. Let us know who you think the top Sharks players are, and if I've got them out of order, if I'm just completely hopeless, which I probably am. All right, let's hit through the fun fact before we go through the last of the comments, Matty.
So I'm going to have a little bit of a monologue here, just in this fun fact at the end. We're talking about Alex Johnston getting very close to Ken Irvine's record of 212 tries. He's only 12 12 tries off, and that's a huge feat given there was a few years there for, it's not a South Sydney podcast, but there where they moved him to fullback. He didn't score many tries. A few years were injury affected, a few years where he had really low tallies, and he's continued to graft away at it. But the 2008 centenary, our rugby league centenary, they named a Kangaroos or Australian team of the century. One winger was Ken Irvine. Do you guys know who the other winger was? Boldo probably knows. Lats, do you know? Or anyone in the comments?
No, mate, I don't.
Anyone? If you can get this in the comments quickly, I might give you the comment prize.
Yeah, well, I'll go on a bit of I suppose I won't reveal it yet, so we'll just chat. So there's talk, I suppose, as to what was the best competition. When did it change? Rugby league started in the late 1890s. I think it was 1896. I think in Huddersfield in the north of England, breaking away from rugby union. And obviously that was the premier competition. But when did the strength of competition transfer? When was the number one competition, that mantle? We know it's the NRL now. When did it transition from the Northern Hemisphere to the Southern Hemisphere? I'm sure there's plenty of podcasts you can listen to. The Rugby League Digest is one of them, where they go into deep dives on English rugby league history and league over there through the 60s and 70s. And we've got both George Todd and Williams 2.0 mentioning a Brian. So I was going to say the last name was Bevan, and there's hundreds here. So it's not Michael Bevan, the great Australian cricketer. He's indeed Brian Bevan. So we give that both to George
It's not
Todd.
Bevan French.
Bevan French. So good name. Maybe he was named after Brian Bevan, but he was Australian player by the name of Brian Bevan. He was the other winger in that Kangaroos team of the century. He went to the UK. Well, he started with Eastern Suburbs, played for them in the New South Wales Rugby League from 1942 to 46, played 8 matches, scored 1 goal. Then he went from 46 to 62, played for Warrington, played 620 matches, scored 740 tries, kicked 34 goals. And then he went to Blackpool Borough and played there from 62 to 64 and played 42 matches, scored an additional 17 tries for a total try-scoring tally of 757 tries from 670 matches during a period where the English competition was the premier rugby league competition in the world. So that is just absolutely mind-boggling. And
he's also the highest point scorer in rugby league history, despite the fact he didn't kick goals.
Yeah, he kicked a total of 35 goals. So that's a token effort compared to his 757 tries. And also during a period where tries counted for 3 points, not 4. So there's my fun fact, I suppose, that I don't think Brian Bevan's tally will ever be beaten in any grade of let's call it professional or first class rugby league. So good on you, Brian. He also had a few, I suppose, members of his family did play other sports and play rugby league. He also served in the Royal Australian Navy from 1936 to 1946. So it was a bit war affected there as well. His tally for the Roosters there. So that was probably why. And I think there's been a book written about him and other things like that, including his nephew Paul Bevan played for the Sydney Swans in 2004, and a few others of his I think relatives did play rugby league as well. But crazy. He passed away in 1991 and was known as the Wing Wizard. So, yeah, shame he didn't play for Penal.
Shame. Thanks for that fun fact, Matty. All right, let's go through the last of the comments. So let's just go from here. SJD saying Raiders $8 to win the comp is A grade. Comedy. Will the Younger, that's your brother, yeah? Boldo shouting Chinese for all 1,000 subscribers.
I did mention that one whilst you were getting your slides together, and was saying that we may be still waiting for the duck, but Boldo is shouting, so you heard it here first.
If you're saying, Will 2.0 saying, you're saying there's a Boldo 2.0, watch out, lads. Then was that the end of season pre-recorded? No. SJD, this reminds me of Marty from Back to the Future. Wait a minute, I've seen this one. It's a rerun. All right, sure, that's true. Thanks, SJD. 2.0 saying in the comments that Williams and Latch should be asking for a pay rise. Well,
or
they
something.
can have an infinite.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks.
I don't even know who wrote this. The creator,
meal.
who said, which one of us wrote in the creator can't even do his own tiers?
Who has
That must
access
that
and
must
who
be
calls
that-
you the creator?
That must be Chris Kelly.
It'd be Stephen. I think it'd be Stephen would be
No,
saying
but
that.
it's a Facebook comment.
You're right. From there. Oh, there you go.
Not me.
It would be Kelly.
Yeah. All right, Stuart Campbell saying Boldo, bottom of his own tears. There we go. There's Chris Kelly. Let the admin lady cook instead. Read the notes. Oh, yeah, indeed, read the notes. 2.0. Boldo is bottom of the ET stand tiers. Well, look, we all know that if we did a contributors to the ET stand, that I would be bottom of the ET stand tiers. SJD, this is the best goof since Williams ended the stream. 2.0, except
Oh,
the photo. Tommy
could
is
it be?
Ramian. And then SJD saying Bradley on the same level as Ramian. What the hell's going there? Then Chris Kelly saying, why is Bradley that low? OD's finally cracked Sione as Breton. What was Sione as Breton? Beatson. Stuart saying, I've lost it. And then SJ, imagine putting Katoa at the top and still thinking we're going to lose this week. Yeah, we are going to lose this week. Which Bliss versus oh, goodness me. I'm just getting hammered here. SJD, I'm glad we don't have a raper on our team. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know. Here we go. Stuart Campbell with an actual comment here. A weapon in for Acco to play bench 13 role and free up Callum to front row with Jesse Colhoun and BHU. Important next 4 or 5 weeks ahead for us. Yeah, not wrong, Stuart. I think the Sharks need to either put up or shut up in terms of keeping in touch with the top 4, or we're going to fall back into the rest of the list. SJD 757 tries. There's like an outrageous number of tries about Brian Bevan. And George Todd is in there with the comment saying Warriors by 2, with Kurt Capewell scoring the winner, getting all of the glory. Scott Latino.
They can't see the point of the ball.
Can't see the point of the ball. And 2.0, once again, lads, congrats on 1 subscriber. It's been a blast to be able to listen and contribute. 2.0, you are a legend. It's always fun having everyone contribute. All right, the winner for the comments, lads. What do we like?
There's been some good ones.
Some
I
crackers
thought
tonight.
Will the Younger was pretty good. I thought this one was quite good.
Give you that. That's your
That one's
shout.
pretty good. That one's also quite good, but I think that one's pretty good.
There's a lot of good ones in there. Just talking about the Sharks. So the Sharks Warriors players. A lot of heat for Boldo late on.
Actually, I liked SJD's one about Will Kennedy playing fantastic against the bite.
That was also pretty good.
We'll give that. I'll second that one. Actually, that was
all right, lads. So, all right, we're going to go SJD, or we're going to go Will the Younger, lads.
Has SJD had a shout already? Has SJD had a vote already?
Let me just go to my notebook, my previous notes, where I've been writing down people that.
That's where the teas were constructed.
Stuart Campbell, Ben Turner, James Munro, and the toilet guy. Toilet inspector. No, SJD hasn't had it.
Sorry, Blake.
All right, SJD.
SJD one. Sorry, Blake. We didn't second that one because we know the Raiders are probably going to win the comp, and we're all going to get free Chinese. So it's a win-win here. So.
I'll tell you what. If the Raiders win the comp, I will shout Chinese for any subscriber who comes to the end of season Chinese with us. If the Raiders win.
Oh, yes.
Right.
I'm actually going to support Ricky's joint.
I'll shout the food. I won't shout the beers. I won't shout the tickets.
That's
because if 2.0 comes down, I'm screwed. So
the cheap cows.
I know. I've seen 2.0 stealing beers off the damn Sharks just coming in midstream. So I know what that's like. I'll be down bloody out $1,000. But yeah, I'll shout Chinese. And you know what happens if the Raiders do win? It won't be mixed entrees for all.
Okay. We'll have that chat another day. But 2 things I will say. Obviously, the Sharks had a shocker against the Roosters, and Boldo's getting a lot of heat for his performance today. But we love you, mate. So hopefully we'll the Sharks will bounce back, and Boldo will bounce back next week too. But 1,000 subscribers, that's a pretty big moment. So thank you everyone for watching. It's been good fun, and it's been a bit of a milestone for us. And this has been a really fun episode. So thanks, guys.
It has been fun. Yeah, we got some fun things planned coming up. So with us hitting 1,000 subscribers, gives us a whole bunch of options. Apparently, we can turn memberships on I don't know what we would give you if you were a member of the ET stand, but we'll think of something. And then we'll also, and yeah, SJD, we will add you to the wheel this time because last time we didn't do that. We are the biggest joke of a show, aren't we? All right, legends. We'll be back. We are amateur. We'll be back with the debrief live after bowl time. It's going to be Scott Latino with me, 1D Boldeman. I am going to be live from Woolooware Bay Precinct. Got access to a mate of mine's apartment, so we'll be doing the podcast from there. So we'll be live straight after full time, hopefully for a Sharks win, so I can have egg on my face. Matty Williams, Scott Latino, thanks for a fun show, lads. That was the ET stand. See you later. Up, Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.